Hello and welcome to another edition of Whitt Sessions. What is Whitt Sessions? I'm so glad you asked. It's a pop-up conversation in a pop-up location with a pop-up guest. And today, I'm going to get closer. I am so excited to welcome three special guests to Whitt Sessions, and I want to ask them to introduce themselves. And once they introduce themselves, I will share my connection to this illustrious body of individuals. Starting to my immediate right, my colleague.
I am Shalise Tolbert of Tolbert and Tolbert, and I am the chair of the Northwest Indiana Leadership Council of UNCF.
Welcome.
I am Andre Neely, the Regional Development Director for UNCF, which is leading and in partnership with the Northwest Indiana Leadership Council.
And to your right?
I am Brian Kelly. I am the Area Development Director for UNCF for the state of Indiana.
Well, as you can see, the common factor or common denominator amongst these individuals is UNCF, United Negro College Fund. And earlier, I think at the end of last year, I announced on all of my social media platforms that I was honored to join the Leadership Council here in Northwest Indiana. And of course, one of my roles I'm happy to play is to assist with the promotion of the programs in any way that I can spread the good news of what our council is doing in Northwest Indiana as well as across the state of Indiana. I want to do it. And so when I reached out to you to say, can we do a Whitt session? The answer was a resounding yes. And so here we are. And I want to start with you, Shalise. You and I travel in a variety of circles in our beautiful city of Gary. And we travel in these circles because we're always involved in community activities. But one in particular that you have really stood at the helm and taken the bull by the horns is for the fundraising efforts for UNCF, for our Northwest Indiana chapter. So talk to me about how you got involved and what we're getting ready to do for 2020.
Well, gosh, I got involved with the Northwest Indiana Leadership Council. I don't even remember.
Were you voluntold?
I was kind of voluntold.
Ms. Powers, did you do that?
Ms. Powers kind of voluntold, but she said, hey, come attend this meeting and see what we're talking about.
That's how it always starts.
It was kind of voluntold. I think that might have been in 2008, maybe.
Oh, wow.
2000. Yeah, it was very, very long time ago now that I think about it. And they were meeting over at the Y at that time. And so I've always had a passion for education as a philanthropic ideal for me. So I was already involved, I think at that time, with Gary Literacy Coalition. So to come and see what it's about and, you know, finding money for kids to get to and through college was really important to me because that was one of the things I think that we didn't learn enough about.
Yes, yes.
So as I started attending meetings, actually my husband Michael and I were brought on as a team effort. And after that, then Miss Andrea, she doesn't let people go.
That's right. It's an attraction that we have, and that's a great segue to just talk about the partnership. So we're Northwest Indiana, but you're always here. You're honorary Gary, by the way. And you come up and help us to coordinate our fundraising efforts. And oftentimes when I'm in meetings with them, I hear them refer to our young people as our babies. And I love that for the simple fact that it really, really drives home how passionate you are about ensuring that the young people in our community, one, know about the scholarship opportunities that are available to them, but even more important that they get the help that they need to complete the process and that those dollars are ultimately deposited into their accounts to attend fantastic organizations like Howard University, should we say? but tell me more about your role and how you work with us in Gary to ensure our children get those scholarships.
14 years with UNCF, and I am so glad I'm an honorary from GI.
GI all day, all day.
I just had to say that. I just want to say that. But no, I have a history of just being in Northwest Indiana, and in the last 14 years, just really growing the awareness of resources. In the past, Gary used to have the highest number of African Americans attending HBCUs from the state of Indiana.
Did we?
Yes, you did.
Oh, we have to get that title back.
Oh, yes. So now Indianapolis is kind of competing, but it's just the fact that we go back to where you most consistent, many students, HBCUs from Gary.
Mhm.
And so that was easy. Again, in 2008, after being with UNCF 2 years, kind of launched the Leadership Council. And things happen for a reason. And so went to, actually was the Bar Association dinner.
Aha, that's how that connects.
Yes, that's right.
And so we had another Leadership Council member at the time, Judge Tanya Walton Pratt was being honored.
Right.
And so, those people that volunteered, she was strategic. So she put us in the room.
Yes.
And then that's how I was introduced to, I got 2 for 1.
2 for 1.
Right.
And a great dinner, I'm sure, at the bar.
It was great. And so really just having someone who aligned with the vision of creating opportunities through resources. And so it was through that relationship, building with, again, Shalise and Sharice and Cynthia, that we went from doing one event to doing a consistent event, having a strategic plan, and then beginning to reach out and network to do one thing, is provide scholarships annually versus having one event.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you fund it?
Right.
And so it's just working with, again, the leaders in Northwest Indiana, that, again, the resources, when you look here, it's a challenge, but it's amazing what the council can do, has done, with the leadership and partnership, and then just the passion of people who are really committed to our scholars. So that's why I'm here. And again, I just love GI.
Yes, we
College
love
Room
having
Nation,
you
GI,
here.
and asparagus is my spot.
Okay. And so you have expanded your team. So I'm new to the team from a volunteer standpoint. And then you have with you one of your illustrious staff members. Brian, welcome.
Yes, thank you very much.
So talk to me a little bit about your role now that you've joined the team and some of your goals for this region.
Yes, so my 6-month anniversary is tomorrow.
Oh, happy
So
anniversary.
my first day of work was here at the Leadership Council meeting July 15th. So for me, I am a resident of Indianapolis. I'm a Hoosier by heart. And so Terre Haute is my hometown. Sycamores. But just seeing the impact that is here in Gary in Northwest Indiana, being a part of the Urban League Scholarship Fair back in October, is very impactful for me.
Did you see how many young people were there? Wasn't that
It
amazing?
was impressive.
Like
to see these kids.
2,600.
Yes.
And they were very prepared, had great questions, had great enthusiasm and energy, and so that really inspires me to want to help see more kids from Gary and Northwest Indiana go to and through college.
Well, that's exactly why we decided to have this session today, because one of the monumental and paramount events that we host as the key fundraiser is coming up in February, and we are in our planning phases for that. And so I wanted to get you on camera to talk a little bit about it, what it means, and how we need everybody who's watching to share this information and support. So ladies, either one of you can talk about February event coming up.
Well, February 5th, we have our annual Mayor's Breakfast. This is the 7th year, and it has become somewhat of a staple event in Northwest Indiana. I don't know that anybody else has done a breakfast for any type of organization. And as we thought about what we could do for a fundraiser in planning this, it started out learning that they were doing governor's luncheons or dinners or things of that nature. And I was like, you know what, why don't we just do breakfast? We should be able to get some people together before they really get into their day and get them to come out and to support us. And it started out that first year, what did we have? Maybe 150 people. And now we have over 500 attending every year.
And after they watch this, we're shooting for 1,000. That's what
Right.
we're going to do.
So
1,000 people. We need 1,000 people on the 5th. So where's it going to be?
It is at the Genesis Center in Gary, Indiana. Begins at 8 a.m. February 5th. Every year, it's always the first Wednesday of February. So that's what we try to maintain. So you can always have it on your calendar.
Yes. And I've been for the past few years, and I kind of felt it. I have to be honest. I kind of felt I'm going to end up getting involved, because I would serve as the MC, and I'm like, okay, that's probably not going to be enough, because that's once a year, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a donation. That's probably not going to be enough. I'm going to come to some of the scholarship presentations. Yeah, that's probably not going to be enough. Or you all saw me enough to say, okay, well, why don't you go ahead and join the council? And I'm so glad that I did. Talk to me, Andrea, about this breakfast fundraiser and what it means as far as the percentage of dollars raised. This is the bigger piece to our whole fundraising puzzle, no?
Correct. For Northwest Indiana, and I have to give a shout out to GI, is because we have leadership councils in Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, and then Northwest Indiana. And so from a standpoint of a history, that we had the Gilberts, they donated, $200,000, and it kind of started and really helped launch, here's scholarships, what happens when those dollars are gone? And this has been kind of the feeder in that the mayor's breakfast, the dollars raised support the scholarships. We also have our foundation. The Crown Point gives dollars to support it, as well as
John Anderson.
Yes, the foundation.
The foundation that supports it. And then you also have NIPSCO. So you have multiple partners that are committed to ensure that we raise dollars and that we're able every year for renewals for those students. So we've got some amazing students that have received scholarships through the program.
Yes.
They've graduated and they've come back, or they've received some resources like Damian Miller, who received an internship and a scholarship from UNCF. Now he's home.
Hey, Damien, we'll see you later at the meeting.
He's on our council too.
Yes.
Absolutely. And he's bringing in the energy and the perspective of the next generations of those that are supporting. He got through college in 3 years.
Yep.
And he's back serving and paying it forward for the next generation. So to your question, the impact, the dollars are significant for those students that may not be able to return to school one semester because they may be short $1,500. These scholarships are up to between $3,000 to $5,000 need-based.
Oh, wow.
And so that's a difference maker, that you can have $2,500 2 semesters. That keeps you in school.
That keeps you in school, absolutely.
And so that is the impact that this event has and the importance that it has to the community as a whole.
So, Brian, talk to me a little bit more about your role. Do you go from area to area across the state, or do you have specific areas for which you are responsible? And what role do you play when it comes to raising those dollars?
So I kind of follow where we have our leadership councils.
Okay.
So as Andrea said, we have Indianapolis, we have Fort Wayne, and we have Northwest Indiana. My role is to help those areas raise the funds for scholarships and for students to go to HBCUs that we partner with. So
now, who's your favorite council? We're going to get them on tape.
I think she's wearing a purple dress.
All right.
She likes to sing on stage with Velvet
DeVoe.
and has an amazing spirit of just being very committed to her community.
Yes.
So Shalise Tolbert and her better half, as
Here.
you would say, Mike, is also a very big part of that as well.
Yes, and I think I failed to mention when I said we're in a pop-up location, the pop-up location is right here at 11th and Broadway, Tolbert and Tolbert Law. So for those of you who are also in need of legal services right here in downtown Gary or midtown Gary, we are certainly invite you to reach out to Shalise, Michael, and their team. And I thank you for hosting us for this conversation. I want to talk a little bit more about some of the other goals that we have in 2020, other events, and most important, parents who are watching, young people who are watching, what do they need to do? How does the process work when we talk about getting the information, applying for the scholarships, deadlines, all those things? I know that was a lot, so you all can just split all those questions amongst yourselves.
Well, let me jump in because you said something very key. How do parents and students access the resources? February 1st is when UNCF opens up all the scholarships in our portal. Not just the scholarships here in GI, but all the scholarships across the country, of which students from Northwest Indiana you would qualify for. I'm speaking to you because our website, www.uncf.org, go in, complete your profile, complete it to the most detail, because it's then put through all of our scholarships in our portal, and whatever your profile speaks to, they're going to send those scholarships that basically, you align with. So you're not limited to ones by coming and receiving a scholarship from Northwest Indiana. You now have access to all the other scholarships as well. And so February 1st, for those students who are, again, seniors in high school, juniors in college, sophomores and freshmen, because these dollars are going to be available for you in the fall. So www.uncf.org complete your student profile. And if you have questions, you've got a great team in Northwest Indiana that can ask questions about how do you access those resources.
That is wonderful. And there's a myth I need to dispel. A lot of times when we talk about, and it could have been like this back in the day when we talk about the support for those scholarships could only go to historically Black colleges and universities. And we are misinformed if we think that. Are there not students that go to Bloomington and other schools that also receive support from our organization?
UNCF supports students at over 1,100 colleges and universities, including two-year institutions like Ivy Tech. We've got a great relationship with them. So it's not limited to, it's based on the criteria, and can you compete for the scholarships?
I just really needed to get that out there, because at one time I thought that, when you think United Negro College Fund, oh, this is for black schools only, but that is not the case. And I want those who are watching to know that, so that you can share the information with a young person in your life, whether it's your child, niece, nephew, family member. February 1st, you need to mark that date on your calendar, because that's when the portal opens. I didn't realize that it vets your entire profile, that gets you looked at for a variety of scholarships. And now is the time, because what we find, and Shalice, you would agree with me, that we find young people that want to wait till the last minute.
Oh my goodness, yes they do.
And then they're like, so where are the scholarships?
Right.
And it's like, it's August.
Right.
You haven't even gotten accepted to a university, you haven't applied. So those things are important. As we wrap our conversation up, I would like for each one of you to look into these cameras. We're on multiple channels because we really want to get the word out, and give your most earnest plea to those who are watching about why they should, one, support UNCF, and those young people who are looking for scholarships, why they need to get moving right away. Start with you, Madam President.
Well, I would say that because education is so important, knowing where those financial resources are is one of the main reasons why I do this. So getting donations, getting funding, making sure children have access to this information is what we're all about. So as I am recruiting and asking people to support us, those are the types of things that I'm saying, because if we don't support our own, who else will?
That's right.
You do better when you know better. Mm-hmm. Knowing that UNCF is a resource for you, reach out, go to the website, look and see what's there. Not just scholarships, there's internships, there's fellowships. That is an opportunity for you, parents, to reduce your debt, you students to reduce your debt, and also see what other opportunities are available for you. Where is your passion? Is it in teaching? There's scholarships and internships for that. Are you excited about STEM? There's scholarships and internships for that area of interest. Take the time, educate yourself on a resource that's been here for 75 years with one goal in mind, to educate, take students of color to and through college, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in, and GI is doing that with the Northwest Indiana Scholarship Program.
You're doing it. Brian, bring us home.
I would follow up with that in the 75 years, we have raised nearly $5 billion, sent nearly 500,000 students to and through college. And for me, the one thing that stands out the most is that for every one student that we have that we can give a scholarship to, we have 9 others that we can't. And that's all because of lack of funding. And so if you can give, whatever you can give, we ask to help us send more of our kids to and through college.
And there you have it. Please support us as we look to support our future. My name is Chelsea Whittington, and you have been tuned in to Whitt Sessions, a pop-up conversation in a pop-up location with a surprise guest. And this has been such a pleasant surprise, speaking with the representatives from UNCF. And I'm so glad to join your team. I look forward to seeing all of you at the Mayor's Breakfast on Wednesday, February 5th at your Genesis Convention Center located in beautiful downtown Gary. Keep following us on Facebook, CWIT, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn for more updates. And don't forget, CWIT Sauce comes out on Friday, and more information about UNCF will be right there. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll see you next time.